Lori Michelle Moshiach asking the question, has anybody ever mocked you and said, gonna cry? That's happened to me on more than one occasion in my life. And when it happens, boy, does it hurt. If you're sensitive, that's a sign that you're in touch with your soul. Sensitivity is godliness. It's not a bad thing. It's a wonderful thing to be sensitive. And from the time I was small, I was told I was too sensitive. I had to grow a thicker skin. Well, why do you need to grow a thick skin in this world? I'll tell you why. Yet Sahara is so strong in our world, and people attack you and they prey upon people who are sensitive. We need to be strong because of the evil in our world. If there was no Yetzirah, if there was no evil surrounding us, we wouldn't need that thick skin, would we? So Hashem wants me to read from my book, Blindsided by Messiah. In the beginning of the book, how I explain I was super sensitive from the time I was a baby. By the time I was 4 years old, I was told daily I was too sensitive. And I want to paint a picture of what that really was and explain to you further what Yetzirah looks like and what Yetzirah Tov, the good inclination, looks like. Because these things are not taught to most of the world. It's time to learn. Page 22 of I Am Lori Michelle, Hashem's Moshiach. Growing up, I was deeply affected by the tone, language, and facial expressions of the people around me. Receiving a raised eyebrow or hearing cross language from a parent, teacher, or someone I loved made me visibly upset or sent me into tears. By the time I was 4 years old, I was told daily I was moody and too sensitive. As I got older, I was often verbally berated by my mother. I lived with a rap sheet of being selfish and moody and ungrateful. My own father, whom I loved dearly, one morning gave me a vicious and demoralizing verbal beating because I walked into the kitchen looking sad and didn't say good morning. He blew his lid and marched me out of the kitchen, sat me in the living room of our home that memorable Saturday morning, and screamed at me while my mother goaded him on to yell at me even harder. He screamed that I was ungrateful because I never smiled, and he was incensed that I had the audacity to be unhappy. In his mind, I should have been giddily happy because of the home he provided me and how hard he worked to give me everything that I had. As he berated me in front of my mother, he screamed at me to smile as I wept. He continued to verbally assault me and treated me as though I was a moody, ungrateful, spoiled little brat. I cried so hard, I began hyperventilating. As I sat in the living room of my family home, not even aware that it was Shabbos morning, I sobbed and forced a fake smile on my face to please the Father whom I loved so much. I vividly recall staring at the TV where the musical group, the Tokens, were performing the famous song, "The Lion Sleeps Tonight." As I sat there at just 8 years old, I couldn't understand what I was doing that was so awful, or how screaming at me and calling me names would ever make me want to smile. Now, more than 5 decades later, I know that while I was being verbally abused by my parents, our King, Hashem, God, sat silently with me on the sofa, watching with supreme patience. Hashem knew that over 50 years later, he would instruct me, his Moshiach, to include the last verse of this poignant song in my book. Hush, my darling, don't fear, my darling, the lion sleeps tonight. Hush, my darling, don't fear, my darling, The lion sleeps tonight. I took my lumps and bruises that morning and looked for the love, not realizing I was being groomed to be a teacher. God knew one day I would accept my role as his chosen one, who would work tirelessly to end the madness and dedicate my life to heal our world. I was 8 years old, and that was the beginning of my education, my childhood. And as I grew up, I've been bullied, I've been molested, I've been sexually assaulted by a doctor in an ER room. When I was 17 years old, I was sexually assaulted while a nurse watched. It's in my book. There, for the grace of God, we all go. We all take the Yetzer Hara in everyone around us, and the difference between me, Moshiach, and everyone else is I didn't take the Yetzer Hara onto myself and give it back to anyone else. I don't know how that's possible, but he says it's possible because that's what I am. I never choose the Yetzer Hara, and that's my job. My job is to explain to you all these horrible stories, all of these times where I was victimized just like you. And I cried, and I've cried, and I'm still crying. And I'm hoping you're going to buy this book and read it, because you're going to see yourself in many of these stories. You are definitely a victim of people preying on you with their Yetzer Hara. The trick is, you've got to learn when you've chosen those same behaviors yourself. And please trust me, I don't want to find the Yetzer Hara in people. It's just there. It's you who has to find it in yourself. Pick it out of yourself and throw it away and say, I choose God. You see, my father and my mother were good people, good parents, and they raised us the best way they knew how. And they had their parents and their siblings attacking them too. And what goes around comes around until someone stands up and says, no more, not me, I'm going to do it right. When you come here as a spirit and are given a body, and that's when you have to become a traffic cop. Good inclination, evil inclination. And from the time you're little, you're attacked by other people's evil inclination. What does it feel like? It feels like, so you're going to cry. That's what it feels like. It feels like you can't do anything right in someone's eyes. You're trying so hard to do the right thing, and people feel like they're ganging up on you. And chances are very good it's their ego and their Yetzer Hara feeling threatened. They want to control you, and you're feeling put upon, and that's what it feels like. So when you're sensitive and you feel like crying, that's your soul saying, something's wrong, I'm being attacked. The key is, we all have to learn how to attack. And that's where this book comes in. It explains so much. I implore you to go on Amazon and buy it and start learning and reading and going through all my boxing rounds. I've lived it. I've had boyfriends. I've been preyed upon. And now, in this part of my journey, I'm a teacher, and I am the first to say, I choose God. Listen to me, please. Don't choose the Yetzer Hara. Choose God every moment of every day. Learn to be vigilant. Learn. And start by going online, buying my book, and learning down to earth, real world examples of how Yetzer Hara is taking over our world and you're being attacked. So separate yourself from the pack. stand on your own 2 feet and declare, I choose God. May God bless you. Peace on earth in our time. God bless you.